So we're the richest country the face of the earth has ever seen. Corporations are making record profits. Wall Street is breaking records all the time. Yet half the country's poor. And none of our politicians, from the two main parties, have any ideas on how to fix it. In fact, they're being stared in the face by a revolution on both sides, Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump, and they're still sticking their head in the sand. There's a report came out today, or not today, but came out recently from I got to read this. It is from the Urban Environmental Policy Institute at the Occidental College. And it said food insecurity among University of California employees. Let's remember, University of California, third largest employee in California. University of California is the third largest employee in California. If California was a country, it'd be the sixth largest economy in the world. And guess what? Well, first of all, in July of this year, they did a survey, and they found out that 19% of the students respondents indicated very low food security, and an additional 23% of students responded reporting having low food insecurity. So if you add those two up, it comes out to 42% of the students at the University of California are either very low or low on food security. It's almost half the people. How are you going to learn on an empty stomach? So, according to this new study about the employees, here's the key finding. More than 2/3, 70% of University of California's clerical, administrative, and support workers struggle to put adequate food on the table and are considered food insecure, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. That's 7 out of 10 employees of the largest employer in the state in an economy that is booming. 7 out of 10 are food insecure.
Is that worse than Walmart?
It's like Walmart. It's like everybody's Walmart now. Like people don't understand. When I was a kid, you could go get a job selling shoes at Sears or selling dishwashers at Sears or lawnmowers or whatever. And you could make a living and send your kid to college. You could have a house. You could have a real life. Do you think someone who works at Walmart could do that? Are you kidding me? They have to go on welfare immediately. They can't own a home. They have to buy cars secondhand. They have to go on assistance. So that's what's happened to our economy because we got rid of unions and the Democrats got in bed with the people who are working to defeat the workers' agenda. Democrats are now in bed with Wall Street. Wall Street's agenda is defeat the workers' agenda, so the Democrats now do it. That's why the Democrats passed NAFTA, deregulated Wall Street, and now Barack Obama's pushing the TPP, and you tell me I still have to vote for that party. I ain't voting for that party. So this is quite stunning, no? That 70%, and it goes on. It says 1/4, 25% of the UC employees have low food. Well, here's a chart. I'll give you the chart. Very low, 45% of employees. Of the U.S. households, 5% are food very low. Isn't that amazing? So the number 3 employer in the California, 70% of their employees are food insecure.
Well, maybe the UC California isn't making enough money off of student loans.
Maybe they're not making enough money.
Is that it, maybe?
So food insecurity is experienced in much the same way across cultures, according to the research findings. In its mildest form, individuals with food insecurity worry or experience anxiety over being able to acquire food, enough food, for their households. In its most severe form, individuals with food insecurity restrict their actual food intake because they lack sufficient food resources. Persistent food insecurity can lead to hunger, undernutrition, and serious health consequences. Kind of makes sense, huh, Jim?
Well, not to go on a tangent here, but I was recently in Maine, as you know. Mm-hmm. And they have a ballot measure to punish the poor who are on food stamps by saying if they win a lottery ticket, anything over $5,000, they will be automatically taken off food stamps and welfare. And the hilarious thing is that's already a federal law. So, but they're just going to double down on it in Maine.
You guys got to understand that there's a lot of industry tycoons, oil billionaires, and bankers that they experience profit insecurity.
They do
all the time, and the government's there for them though. They get subsidies.
They experience second home insecurity.
Yep.
They experience vacation insecurity. They experience yacht insecurity.
Private plane insecurity.
I have a lot of food insecurity, and my eggplant is so jealous of my zucchini. But
So the report goes on. It says, further, food insecurity can lead to negative psychological consequences and can result in poor performance at the workplace. 69% of food insecure employees reported having difficulty concentrating at work, and at least once during the year. 14.2% reported having that experience every month. Wow. 80% stated that they had to choose between buying food and paying for their rent or utilities. 1 out of 4 faced that decision every month.
You see, they wouldn't have to...
These are people with jobs.
They wouldn't have to make that Sophie's choice if they would just live inside a jicama. Hollow a gigantic jicama out. Yes.
So there's no... And the government... has lost the ability to respond to problems, right? So our government has been taken over. There's been a corporate coup d'etat. It's happened. So that we all know the Princeton study that showed that there's no correlation between what 90% of the voting population wants and what legislation gets passed. Only the top 10% of wage earners get to influence legislation. So we live in an oligarchy. We all know all this. And the government has lost its ability to respond to these problems. Half the country's poor are in poverty. The levers of government have seized up. You know, when Occupy Wall Street happened, the government's response was to cut teachers' pay and take their unions away and cut unemployment insurance. These are not rational responses. So the government no longer responds rationally. Right now, you got the cops in North Dakota at the behest of Goldman Sachs and oil companies cracking the heads of peaceful protesters and jailing journalists. Right now, you don't need Trump to do that. Right now, Barack Obama is using the Espionage Act. Right now, Barack Obama is using the Espionage Act to prosecute journalists who expose war crimes. He doesn't prosecute people who commit war crimes. He's prosecuting journalists who expose war crimes. That's happening right now. You don't need Trump. Right now, they're getting ready to poison the groundwater in the Midwest. They're getting ready to do it. And they're breaking treaties to do it. And they're jailing journalists to do it. And this is all in the name of liberty and freedom. So the government has lost its ability to respond. Half the country's poor, and there ain't no programs. Barack Obama, there is no Main Street bailout happening. It did not happen. He bailed out Wall Street to the tune of $4 trillion. Jill Stein wants to cancel $1 trillion in student debt, and everybody goes, hey. Iraq war, $4 trillion. I want to get rid of student debt. And people say you got to vote for more of this. Hillary Clinton, these problems only get worse under Hillary Clinton. So that's the world we're living in. And the people telling me to be quiet, I wonder what they're going to be saying when the revolution happens. You can't keep going like this. This is unsustainable.